Today, we're going to dive into a pretty tragic fable. It seems simple on the surface, right? It's a story about a sparrow who falls in love with a shrimp. But it asks this really deep question. Can love really conquer all, even when two worlds just can't meet? Let's get into this powerful little story.
And, like all the best fables, this is how our story has to begin. It sets the scene for a world where something that seems completely impossible just might happen. So let's meet our very unlikely couple. So here we have our two main characters, and they are from completely different worlds. You have a sparrow, a creature of the sky, who spots a shrimp, a creature of the sea. And in that one single moment, an impossible love story begins.
Now, this sparrow was persistent. I mean, day after day, he was there trying to win her over. It took a long, long time, but all that dedication, it worked. Her heart finally gave in, and believe it or not, the sparrow and the shrimp got married.
But look, anyone who's ever been in a relationship knows that falling in love is really just the start. The real challenge was about to hit them. Hard. Because, yeah, they were in love, but one was still a bird and the other was still a shrimp. Their basic needs, their very essence, were just totally at odds. And this slide right here lays out their big problem perfectly. The sparrow's home, a dry field of hay, way far away from any water. The shrimp's whole universe, it was the water. There was absolutely no middle ground where they could both live, let alone be happy. So, in this incredible act of love, the sparrow actually tries to live in her world, but a bird can't live in the water. It only took 5 days for the awful truth to sink in. To be with the one he loved in her kingdom meant that he was slowly, painfully drowning. So, of course, to save him, she agrees to try his world. She leaves her home, her water kingdom, for his field of hay. But for her, the sun and the dry air were just as deadly. Her body just couldn't take it. She started turning red from the heat, a terrible sign of just how much she was suffering. So they come up with this really painful compromise. One day in the water for him, the next day in the field for her. Can you imagine? It was this constant rhythm of hardship, just going back and forth between near-death experiences. And yet, the story tells us that for a while, this awful arrangement, it was actually enough to make them happy. But that kind of life, it just isn't sustainable. The strain was just too much. The constant travel, the shock to her system over and over again, it became unbearable. She didn't die from the sun on one particular day, but from the sheer weight of their impossible life. It was her final sacrifice, really, to end her husband's suffering. The sparrow was just devastated, completely heartbroken. His love was gone, a victim of the fact that their worlds could never truly meet. And overcome with all this grief, he makes this incredibly powerful and, as it turns out, fateful vow. He would never, ever leave her side again, not even in death.
And just when you think it can't get any sadder, this is where the story takes its final, tragic turn. The sparrow, being true to his word, stays right there with the body of his beloved shrimp, in his home, that field of hay. But it seems fate wasn't quite done with them yet. Then, something totally outside of their control happens. A farmer, just doing his job, sets the field on fire to clear it. He has no idea about the tiny grieving heart inside that field. And just like that, the sparrow's home becomes a fiery trap. You can just picture the panic, right? His only thought is to protect what's left of his love. He frantically tries to lift her body, to carry her away from the flames in one last, desperate act of devotion. And this is the final, heartbreaking tragedy. In life, they held on to each other through everything. But now, in death, she had no strength left. She couldn't hold on to his wings. His attempt to save her, it was all for nothing. And since he couldn't save her, and because of his vow, he was absolutely unwilling to leave her. So the sparrow stayed. The fire swept through the field, and it took them both. They were finally and forever together in a shared tragic end. And so the fable leaves us right here with this question. Their love was real. It was deep and true. No doubt about it. But their worlds were just incompatible. Their story makes us ask ourselves, is love really enough? Or are some differences, some divides, just too big to overcome?
It's a heavy question, and it's the absolute heart of this powerful little fable.